What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew with a brand new episode of the Paul James Show. It is our Thursday night preview episode. Massive shout out to Roaming, who just dared to speculate that I may not be on time. Sucked in, champ. All right, let's get into things a little bit tonight. There's quite a lot on the agenda. Of course, we've got match preview mode. We're going to go through team selection. There's been one change there that we need to talk about. We're going to go around the grounds, look at all the other games that are going on this weekend, including, of course, the game that will be starting nowish between Collingwood and the Hawthorn Football Club. That is a very important game for Geelong. And we might talk about that as we kind of shift the focus a little bit to the ladder and some of the other combinations and permutations that might spin off from these, kind of tight, contentious games and kind of what some of those effects might be. So we'll discuss all of that tonight. We've got our player spotlight where we're going to be talking a little bit about Mark the Shark O'Connor. We'll go, as I said, we'll go around the grounds. We've got game of the show, your questions and answers, and we'll get into the fun and games. Thank you to all of you who've already popped in so far. Very busy tonight. Mark says no Macarena for you. Of course, if anyone's seen the AI thumbnail that Ben has made for this one, it's a very grumpy Chris Scott and the Macarena being depicted in the background because he doesn't like the Macarena we've learnt. Is what it is. Where are we? Shouting out. Yeah, so sorry, Mark. Roaming's here, as I've already kind of teased with the... so Horacio's here. Jackie's here. Looking through. There's lots of you popping up. Shadoo's here. It's going to be good tonight. Looking forward to chatting to all of you over the course of the show. And, of course, as I said, we'll be keeping a bit of an eye on the Collingwood and Hawthorn game. Shadoo says watch along after the Paul James Show. We'll see how I'm going. So, and Amy's just popped in. Sorry. Horatio, you're 100% right. We really do need Hawthorn to get a win here. I've said it for a few times over the course of recent episodes. Kerry's popped in as well. We need Collingwood to lose at least one, and we need Brisbane to lose at least one. We do that. Whatever happens to Adelaide happens to Adelaide. Sure, it might be nice for us to finish top of the ladder, something like that. Great. But if we don't, no big deal. But top two, vitally important for the Geelong Football Club. Now, of course... And I know there's a few people who've expressed this sentiment. We want to beat the best teams wherever, whenever. If you want to win a flag, you want to be able to beat the teams no matter where it is you got to play. But certainly it makes our run a little bit easier if we can play them in Melbourne. So, Kerry, I can't quite go that far. Scotty's popped in. Good to have him on board. Freddie is suggesting that Jennifer Lopez, the halftime entertainment, Twilight or Night Grand Final, Collingwood Premiership 2025. Yeah, thanks, mate. Jeremy Howe's been knocked out. That's huge early on. Now, I've just got to double check my footy tips because I nearly forgot 10 minutes before the game, like, oh shit, I've got to put him in. And I tipped the Hawks. I went brave because I'm sitting one. So I know we've got our Hoops Crew footy tipping ladder. And of course, Ben throws his shade, but really where I need to win is at work because I need the money. And I'm sitting directly behind a Collingwood supporter in third place on the ladder right now. And I had a hunch and I'm pretty comfortable that, that she will have tipped Collingwood. And so I'm banking on it. But apparently Jeremy Howe is not moving, which is, we don't want to see that for anyone. He's also just come back from injury. I'm just going to quickly flick over and have a bit of a look at KO at the same time here. So I guess we are, Shadoo, doing a little bit of a watch along here of sorts. You don't want that for anyone. That's really, really awful. But yeah, actually I've just panned over. So 18:48 on the clock and he's out like a light. Gee whiz. What sort of collision was it? Oh, hang on. I'm seeing the replay now. Oh, Jackie's done me a favor and sent me a video via Twitter as well. Bear with me for 1 second. We'll get into the show properly in a moment. Oh, the headlock, but the head clash, but then they were both kind of in midair. So he's out and then fallen, whiplash, crack, secondary hit on the ground. It's a bad hit. I don't mean to be insensitive, but we'll get on with the show and we'll keep a bit of an eye on. Hopefully Jeremy Howe is up and about nice and soon. That he's able to give a little thumbs up to people as he's coming off, and that the injury's not too bad. You don't want to see players, regardless of who they play for, you don't want to see players getting hurt. But this is a big moment for the game. Obviously, Hawthorn is kind of playing with a trio of talls at the moment. Giath come back. They've brought a whole bunch of players back in this weekend. And for them to lose a really important defender right now, especially with Darcy Moore being in some pretty wobbly form, that's a big swing in the favours of Hawthorn right now. It's not how you want it to happen, but it's huge for the result, and again, huge for the Cats. But we'll get into the show, and we'll keep an eye. We'll watch this space for a little while yet. The show tonight, we're going to jump into some news to kick things off here. So the round 24 fixture has been revealed, and I need to talk about it because, as you recall, and I've been keeping that little hand-drawn one on my desk for the entire time since we discussed it, I think, on the show 2 weeks ago, and I cracked the shits because they still hadn't revealed it. Well, now they finally have. So let's kind of compare and contrast. The round 24 begins on Thursday night with Essendon and Carlton, which I had on the Monday. On the Friday night, and I actually understand some of the rationale here, but we've got 2 Friday night games here. We've got the Pies and the Ds, which I don't quite understand why it needs to be so early in the round, to be quite honest. We've got Port Adelaide and Gold Coast. Now, of course, if you're going to play the Essendon Carlton game early, you have to play the Gold Coast and Port Adelaide game early. And Gold Coast have really graciously accepted a 5-day break in this scenario to allow Port Adelaide to have a big send-off on a Friday night for Ken Hinkley and now Travis Boak as well. We'll talk about that retirement shortly. We discussed Callum Ward the other day, but here we go. The Pies players are all getting over to Jeremy Howe, which is, again, it's awesome. And I think they've been, to the great credit of the Pies, I think they've been really good leaders in this whole team, very visible support of a teammate thing since they've really first popped up a few years ago. Now, a lot of the clubs are, I wouldn't say emulating it. Emulating compassion is not, but I think it's been, let's get outward. We don't need to stand back and let's support our mates and make it really visible. So I think it's great by the Pies there. And again, all the best to Jeremy Howe, but you can see him waving his arms around now as he's on the stretcher, which is good to see. Kenny Hinkley's got his, and I should project it while we go here. We'll get back to Grimes 150th in a little while. There's our fixture around 24. So I had that game. So I'd kind of flipped things. I'd had Gold Coast and Essendon to begin the round, and then the 2 catch-up games would be near the end, whereas the AFL's kind of done the reverse of that. And they've also got 2 Friday night games for some ridiculous reason. Saturday, we've got North Melbourne and the Crows. I'd put that at Sunday because it was kind of a deadbeat nothing game. We've got Richmond and the Cats. It's the only game that I've tipped correctly at this point, but 4:15 still surprised me. Why can't we have 2:30, 3:15? Get it done. I'm taking my kids. They're 6 and 4. I'm not going to get home till 9 o'clock with them. Anyway, the Saturday night game. Now, remember, I'd suggested that we go with Freo and the Dogs, so we get a big, important finals bout on a Saturday night. Instead, we're getting a wet fart of a football game, being the West Coast Eagles and the Swans. Hawks have got the first goal on the board. I won't say you love to see it, but it's good for Geelong right now. Sunday, we've got the Giants and the Saints. We've got the Dogs and the Dockers. We've got the Lions and the Hawks. Did I pick any of those games for them? No, the AFL can't make a fixture to save themselves. Fucking clowns. All right. Let's get that whinging and whining out of the way. All right. Geelong, though, as I mentioned, 4:15 on the Saturday. That's where we're going to be playing. And it's, it's not a bad time slot for us. It's funny. It's the only one that I got right in this whole ordeal. But anyway, I'll take it. And then we've got the catch-up games. Wednesday. They've ballooned the round out to Wednesday. I had it all blocked into Thursday through to Tuesday. Shadu says intern day at AFL House. I could be the intern and do their job better. Far out. Anyway. Let's talk about the 22 under 22 squad, which you can now vote for on the AFL website and try and get the players in there. We have some players ineligible, being Max Holmes and Shannon Neal. They've just tipped over the age limit now, but Connor O'Sullivan, Lawson Humphries, and Ollie Dempsey have all made it into the squad, and we'll see how that develops in terms of the final 22 once it's revealed in weeks to come. Simon Goodwin, since we recorded the show, has been sacked. It's been very frequently discussed in the last few days. There's been a lot of controversies around it, and discussion and concern. And, again, it seems like there's been leaks. This continues to happen at the Melbourne Football Club. They are an absolute basket case. What are you, Chris Scott? I can handle 3. I'm already doing 3. I've got a full-time teaching job. I do this, and I'm a video game critic. And I've just had a game review code pop into my emails. Lucas, I'm sure you like that if you're watching. I can take on a 4th, especially if they pay me for it, which they better. Anyway, so yeah, Goody's been sacked. On the other side, the news breaking over the course of today is that Michael Voss seems to be safe. Now, of course, no one is ever safe in this business, and things can change. But it seems like right now, Michael Voss is going to be fine for season 2026, and we'll see how we go from there. Scotty says, "Can I have a Battlefield 6 code?" I don't have a Battle 6 code for you, mate. But also, Scotty, just quick thoughts in the chat there about Vossi. Roaming says Voss is the worst choach. It's an emergency. It's time for an emergency meeting. Jumper Punch had one earlier tonight. So go check out all their thoughts on all things Carlton right now. It's just a depressing place, that football club these days. Matty Pavlich has been appointed the new CEO at Sydney, replacing Tom Harley. Would never have picked that, but that's awesome. Love to hear it. Scotty says, "How long have you got?" Just make the comment as long as you want. I'll pin it. We'll see what happens with StreamYard as I pin a monster comment. But we'll go through it. This is your first Carlton Board of Directors hoodwinking. Certainly since I've been making content, but I've seen and read up and listened on plenty of them. Scotty, I've spoken about it on the past. I actually kind of opened up a little bit about it the other day. Whilst there's some grey areas that I can't talk about. I was mates with Nick Austin over the course of the last few years. There's some reasons why we don't really chat these days that I can't talk about. And no, there was nothing between the two of us. But there's reasons why we can't talk these days. But he was a great font of knowledge to get a little bit of insight as to what was going on at the Carlton Footy Club for a few years there. Including learning a little bit about things like the Christian Petrarca deal and how and why that didn't work. Austin is safe, yeah, but there's plenty of people with their jobs on the line. We'll see how it all plays out. But it was really interesting to get to have a few years where I could chat to him and he'd explain a little bit of the goings on. He'd talk to me in confidence, trust that I wasn't going to talk about on the show, which I didn't. Nick Austin is my source of Battlefield 6 codes. You've outed me. Retirements, we've obviously flagged Callum Ward the other day, and we spoke about Travis Boak just before. 2 big retirements in the AFL this week. And of course, the AFLW season launch has now occurred, and the season is now upon us. Meg McDonald has been confirmed as the Geelong Football Club's AFLW captain for a 6th consecutive season. Aisling Maloney was voted the most likely to win the league's goal-kicking award this year. She is an absolute gun, and I have no doubt she'll do it again. Where did Ben's tipping videos go? Just the tip? I have no idea. Oh, I just watched Warple get wrapped up in a really ugly way. We don't want him. Keep your 4 years. And look, the camera just hanging on Nick Dacos. He came off the bench. Ugh. The obsession's ridiculous. But where did the tipping videos go? You'd have to ask Ben. I'm not sure what the rationale was behind stopping them. Other than his system is deeply flawed and ridiculous, and he might be in front of me in the footy tipping, but that's through sheer luck and luck alone. All right. Let's get into selection committee now. So we'll take a look at what the Cats have done going into this week. And of course, we'll continue to keep a bit of an eye on the game as it's continuing to play out. But come on, there we go. The ins this week. There's only one. Mitch Nevitt is in. Patrick Dangerfield is having a rest at the moment. Did the Hawks just kick a... Oh, hang on. My thing's delayed. Great. Thanks. Did the Wizard kick 2? Was that the second one there? Dacos comes on and everyone loses their mind. Flash, we're really spinning off topics. This is going to be a long show if I keep going down this path. Paul, will the Cats make a play for Sam Walsh? And if so, which players might be involved? Sorry about the screen warping and losing its mind at the moment. The AFL site just does this sometimes, where it just flips out while I've got it screen shared. And 2 for the Wizard. Thank you for clarifying there, Jackie. I can't call him the Wizard. He's not Jeffrey Farmer. Not even close. He wishes he could be Jeff Farmer. Yeah, at the end of next year, I could see it happening. If there's anything resembling a fire sale coming up, I could see it happening. But we'll have to wait and see. The Carlton Footy Club have got to sort a few things out before I think they get to the point about going, okay, now what do we do with some of our players? 3 votes, Nick Dacos. Shadu asks, and I guess now to our point about selection, why Nevitt and not Stevens or Clark? I think we're at a point in the season now where Mitch Nevitt has a few more runs on the board. He's a bit more experienced. And also we've seen George recently. We've seen Jai somewhat recently. Mitch Nevitt has had some injuries, he's knocked him around a little bit over the course of the year. He's now available. I think they want to see what he can do right now, and if he can kind of play that AFL intensity, play the sort of footy that we want to see from him, so that if we need him, that he's good to step in. So I think it's about making sure the depth is there and that everyone's ready to go. I think more than anything else. Chris says, Chris Scott says, Clark was close and they're trying to try him in a new position that they're excited about. I think he's been fantastic in the VFL recently. Right now, is Nevitt trade bait? I don't think so. I think they're really just trying to build out the depth. Nevitt must be fucking huge. I really rate Mitch Nevitt. As people have heard for years, I think he is a fantastic footballer. He just needs to get a bit of consistency, a bit of consistent game time, and I think the sky could be the limit for him. But opportunity's got to be there. But also, Horatio nails it. Justice for Jed. And we'll drop a little graphic in here that Ben has also prepared because we're obliged to, and the name has now come up fairly recently. Bit of justice for George as well. And Ben loves his AI. He loves his AI. So justice for George. Jed Lamb. There's a cut. Justice Jed. Justice George. All right. So that is... Oh, where's my screens? There we go. That is the ins and outs, the bench. We can see that obviously as well. I'll bring it all back. This platform. There we go. Our bench at the moment consists of Jack Martin, Mitch Nevitt, Jack Bowes, Mark O'Connor, and Oisin Mullen. The emergencies, Jai Clark, Jed Buse, and George Stevens. Big milestone this week. Graham Myers is playing his 150th game, and I'm not even going to shy from the bias I have towards Graham. He's been a fantastic guest of this show. He helped my son when some little Essendon supporting prick stole his football. I'm going to be harsh on that kid. I don't care that the kid was probably 7 or 8 years old. Little piece of shit. Stole the football out of my son's hand. Got on the DM to Brian after he'd been on behind the play fairly recently. Got me a fresh ball, signed by Tom, signed by Brian, Tom Hawkins, I should say, signed by Brian as well. Brian became my son's favourite player, and we love Brian in this household as well. He is an exceptional footballer, doing some really cool things, and congratulations to Brian Myers on game 150. Shadu says, please get Brian on again because you love him. I'd love to get Brian, and I'd like to get a whole bunch of players on board, but I need all of your help a little bit. I am going to probably harass the club a little bit during the off season and kind of start emailing. I'm going to take the reins off Ben. I think he's being a little bit too gentle and a bit too kind. So I'm going to start in the same way that over the years I've won lots of PR teams over and managed to get the games for player 2. I'm going to be looking to do the exact same thing here and start putting a little bit of pressure on myself to try and get some players on board because I think we can do big things. I think we are big enough to earn the time and attention of the Geelong Football Club. And yeah, they kind of closed the doors to us initially because they wanted us to follow process, but then by following process, we've got no access. So I'm going to start to harass them and put the squeeze on a little bit. If you guys want to, respond to tweets, Josh Bootser, there's a cut. If you want to, tweet at them, respond to Facebook posts, respond on Instagram, all those sorts of things, and go, we want to see players interviewed on the Hoops Crew. That also helps. As small as it may seem, it makes a big difference. So if any of you want to do that, that would be huge as well. No suspensions, no notable absentees beyond those that we've already discussed that are currently sitting on the bench, and of course, danger. Whilst for the opposition, we'll bring it back. For the opposition, I don't know. We're just rolling in no name after no name at this point. Jai Menzies is in, and Oscar Smarts is out. But this is just a whole bunch of bench warmers these days. So, and the umpires, well, who cares? Do we know? There we go. Nick Foote, Jacob Molson, Cameron Jones, Nicholas McGuinness. And I mean this genuinely. If we don't notice them, good. The less we know about the umpires, the better, because it means they are not influencing the game. They are just adjudicating it as it should be. The Pies seem to have started to warm up a little bit now. 2 shots apiece, just some accuracy separating them right now. Let's get into preview mode. We'll continue to talk about this matchup, but honestly, there's not a lot to see here. This has been a pretty common source of discussion over the course of this week that the Cats will, understandably, I think, be tipped by many to win by 3 figures. That's certainly my tip. Putting my prediction out now, I've got a 100-point win on the cards here. And a massive shout out to Type Media. I know any of you who are a part of our Discord have seen that Type Media post during the week about Essendon getting Jezzed this week. I would absolutely love to see Jezza kick 10 plus and make huge inroads into that 25 that he needs. We know the players are feeding it to him. We know that there is a want for him to get the 100 goals. And I think the want really needs to start to become, we want to get this done before the end of the home and away, ideally, but definitely before the end of a qualifying final. I just don't want to see this occur in a knockout final. Because I'm really worried about I'm really worried about the interruption that it creates during a game, very similar to Fraser Garrick all those years ago. Roaming is having a time in the comments there. Jake says, if only we had a daddy who worked in the AFL previously so we could Nepo baby our way into some access. I've got a granddad that played in the AFL. He's not going to be able to help me much, but I've had a granddad that played in the AFL for the Cats. Hence why I'm a Geelong supporter. But we'll see how that goes. I'm just gonna put a little bit of a squeeze on. You're right, Scotty. Finals don't count for the Coleman, but we're talking about the 100 goals in the season. They absolutely do count. They counted for Fraser Garrick. No one sits back and goes, didn't count because he got his 100th in the prelim final. It's absolutely, I think, an even greater accomplishment to do it during the home and away. And again, I would very much like for us to find a way to get those 25 in the next 3 games. Just get as many as you possibly can, and potentially get it out of the way first. But I'll take the 100 however it comes up. Let's just get it out of the way. That's my main thing. Is it a realistic priority? I don't think it's a. I think it's a priority in the sense that, as I was just saying, we want it out of the way. It's a distraction of sorts. And so I would like to see it done. And that's if Fev couldn't get 100, then no one's allowed to get 100. Well, at least, I mean, on that particular occasion, you had Clarko depriving him of that. Clarko couldn't deprive Jezza of 11 the other day. So it's a different time now. What a day that one was. Buddy getting 100 and then Clarko being an absolute dick by depriving Fev up the other end. That was bullshit. I really don't like what Clarko did that day. I mean, there's not a lot of reasons to like Clarko, to be fair, but I really don't like what he did that day. Horatio says 120-point win and 9 for Jez. Oh, Jake Garner's popped in. In the finals could go both ways. If we're behind at the start and Cameron gets 100 to halt the opposition momentum, true. That is the alternative. Oh, sorry, that is the alternative as well. Yeah, it's that's a good way to look at it. I really haven't considered that because I'm probably bringing this overly optimistic that we're winning at the time sort of thing, but that's not necessarily true at all. Clarko and Fev were paired up for the charity round of golf a few years after, and Clarko got a big black eye. All right, continue on with the game though, and actually some of our points of conversation from this one. Look, there's not a huge amount to this. This is a fairly straightforward game for the most part. In fact, if the Cats win by anything less than 10 goals, go on board the join up and rule out finals. It's not worth it. I'm not going to get all Lucas about it. Recent form, Geelong has won 9 of its last 11 games. The Bombers are on a 9-game losing streak. The last time the two teams played, well, that was earlier this season, and the Cats won that game by 95 points, 88-56 to 23 goals, 13, 151. This honestly stinks of Geelong and Richmond in 2007 sort of territory. Now, of course, everything clicked that day for the Cats, but this really has that sort of air about it. I feel like we could blow this margin out even further, but we'll see how it goes. The big question is, of course, how many goals will Jeremy Cameron kick? And Ben ran a poll for that, apparently. I must have missed that one. But he put the poll up on the Hoops Crew, and 3% of you, from 130 votes, 3% of you said Jezza was going to kick between 1 and 3. 25% of you said between 4 and 6 goals. 79% said between 42% of you said between 7 and 9 goals, and 30% of you said 10 plus, which is, yeah, I can see it. The history between the two teams. Now, we've done a lot of these history things recently, and it's one of the few times that we're actually coming against a club who still has a higher winning percentage against us. Most of them have been tipped in Geelong's favour due to 20 years of dominance, but the Bombers are still holding on here. As Jordan De Goey, the ball stayed in play. Oh, geez, that's going to be controversial now. Oh no, it's hit the goalpost. For a second, I thought they were going to dispute whether it was touched on the line or not, and the ball helped into Membry's hands and he kicked a goal. Oh, not to be. Sucked in, Tim Membry. 225 matchups between the two teams. Geelong has won 47% of those. The biggest home and away crowd was 87,653 in 1989. The highest score kicked by the Cats, 181 in 1992. And the biggest margin, 116 points in 1934. We might push that one tomorrow night. The two teams have played in one grand final, 1951, 2 preliminary finals in 1968 and 1989, 9 semis, 1897, 1926, 1940, 1955, 1962, 1964, 1965, 1966, and 2004. The beginning, 2004, just keep in mind, that was the beginning of the Essendon finals winning drought. They have not won a final since since the elimination final that took them to a semi against us. James Hird nearly pulled one out in the final quarter, if people recall. But we won, went on to a prelim final and lost that next week. The Bombers, they've never won a final ever since. And then we've played in one qualifying final in 1989. That doesn't make sense if we played a prelim against them that year. Ben with his result. Anyway, whatever, move on. Let's troll the opposition a little bit. The Bombers are enjoying an 8-game losing streak against the Cats. It's the longest in 128 years. They've had 3 victories over the Cats in the last 19 years, and it is a 7,631 days that many days since they last played in a final. Again, that game in September 2004. Geelong losing in prelim mentioned. We won that prelim in 89. We lost the grand final a week later. The worst losing streak, 17 games up to 2016. What, Ben? Oh, the Bombers' worst losing streak? Consecutive games lost? Team Essendon? I don't understand what he's... Thanks, Ben. I don't quite know what he's going for here. Where are we? The lowest score. The Bombers. Oh, sorry. He's just sinking the boots in. It's not a specific one. The Bombers' longest losing streak is 17 games. Back in 2016. Right now, I'm following. Of course, the players were all out at that point. Is Jordan De Goey just had a baby? You just did a rock the baby then. The 99 prelim. You like that one? You're a fan of that one. Their lowest score, 9 points in a game against Fitzroy in 1899. The highest score they've conceded is 236 against Sydney in 1987. And of course, whatever it takes. The supplement saga was the membership slogan in 2013. Of course, everything became a bit of a problem for them after that. 34 players were found guilty of using the banned peptide thymosin beta-4. They were fined $2 million, banned from the 2013 finals and stripped of draft picks. Coach James Hird was suspended for 12 months. It was a whole mess. The stories for this game, if you call them stories, you've seen the thumbnail. Chris Scott doesn't like the Macarena, and George has been dudded. The game breakers, there aren't any for the Bombers, that's for sure. Jezza is the main big banana for this one. We want to see him kick 10 plus. Speaking of bananas, side bottom missed. That's the big one there, really. So we'll see how that one plays out. What's at stake? The Cats, we are continuing to fight for that top 2 spot. We are boosting this percentage so that if by some chance it comes down to that between us, Collingwood, or the Crows, that we're going to have a really healthy one. I would imagine that we have the best percentage in the comp by the end of the season because of games like the North Melbourne one, because of games like Essendon, because of games like Richmond that are both coming up. It's really going to inflate those numbers. And the Crows have got some tough ones, games against the Pies, where their percentage, even if they win, will probably come down. So we'll see how that goes. Has the Wizard just gotten himself another free? He has 2. He could kick 3 in the quarter here. Jake says, can see Neil in for a huge game up forward with all the attention on Cameron. Yeah, no, I mean, I believe it. If I was the Bombers, I'm trying to separate the want to see Jezza just kick a monster bag here, but if I was the Bombers, I would try as much as possible to just play a typical, traditional, normal forward line setup, even though you're depleted. A lot of the guys that are in now are really young. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking to build their bodies up. They're looking to get experience. Get them playing the right way. Don't just throw them all at Jezza because that's not how you're going to play a typical game. So I'd really like him to kind of play the game, try and play the game properly and see what happens. Thomas says, likes going for good teams. Have gone for the Cats since 2022. Good to have you on board. Sorry, mate. I missed you when you commented early on. Up the Cats, my 6th team that I've supported. But you've gone for the Cats since 2022. Please stick around. You're in for a good time. He said, Hirashi, he's a bandwagon. He's maybe, but we'll take him. And thanks for coming on board and checking out the show tonight too. Really appreciate it. Let's go around the grounds in a moment. But first, get those flower emojis ready, everyone. It's time to take a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 12 11 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Scotty says, I'm confused. Jezza is 80 years old, former captain coach of the Blues. He's a very attractive 80-year-old. Hey, I missed something about the 80 years. I don't understand where that's come from. How's that come about? Jezza turned 80 years old this week. How is he going to kick 10 goals, let alone play for Geelong? Thank you all for the flower emojis. Lucas says Hawks should be up by 50. Look, as long as they win, and I hate saying that, but as long as they win, that's what's important for us. Collingwood needs one loss. But they are defending gallantly. Massive credit to them right now. But Lucas, good to see you on the show, mate, as always. Let's go around the grounds here, look at some of the other games of the round. And of course, we've got the Pies and the Hawks being played right now. I need to go check the Footy Tips website and just see if my prediction of those around me tipping has come to pass. I'm really, really hopeful that this is the opportunity, because I will jump into third based on margin if I get this one right. And if I'm right, my prediction of those who's in third, of the person in third. I felt this was the game where I go, this is the chance to make a point of difference, and I feel like it's feasible. And the Wizard is... Don't like him. He's playing good footy, though. Why isn't the website working? Come on, Footy Tips. Sort your shit out. Oh, there we go. Ladder. Let's see what's going on here. Yes. Now we just need... Sorry, everyone. I'm a Hawks supporter tonight. Tonight and tonight only. I'm a Hawthorn supporter, because that'll slip me into third on margin, and 1 point away from second. Now I have all the money. I'm the one running the footy tipping competition. But I've got to pay people out, and I would like to be able to pay myself. I'd like to have the Barack Obama moment of putting the meme, where he puts the medal on himself. I want to have that moment. I award myself, second or third, because I'm 5 tips behind the person in first. The gap between second and third is already 3 tips. So I've submerged myself in poos and wees for one night only, and it hurts. I'm drowning in this shit. It's awful. Maybe your child having a shot on goal. Calm, Big Mabs. You're an excellent kick, I want to believe. Well, it's after the siren, right? Don't choke. He choked. Because they're brown and gold, Thomas. Poos are brown and peas are gold sometimes. Depends on your diet. All right, let's keep going. So around the grounds, we've got obviously the game that we were just discussing there. Quarter time now in that one. Hawks by 6 points. We've got our Bombers and Cats game that we're talking about. Up the Cats. The Tigers and the Saints will be playing on Saturday afternoon, as will the Lions and the Swans. Saturday night football includes Carlton and Gold Coast. Memorable match, that one. Port and the Dockers. Another memorable match, that one. Good one, AFL. And on Sunday, the Giants and North will be playing, as will Melbourne and the Dogs, and the Eagles and the Crows. Not a lot to like about football this weekend in terms of the matchups. This season is well and truly cooked for 9 teams, and they're just making up the numbers right now. You will go for the Pies if you're a Geelong supporter. I'm not asking for you to support the Geelong Zone. That's Lucas's new channel. He's jumped across. Go check out the Geelong Zone. I think, Lucas, that was your new one, right? That is you? I'm sure it was. If you're a Geelong supporter, you don't need to be a Hawthorn supporter for the night, but you need to be hoping that they win. Saturday night would be the funniest shit ever. What are you talking about? Because you're going to upset the Suns. It's at Marvel. Dimmer hates the place. You're not without a chance, I guess, but surely not. Surely not. Sorry, Scotty. But what I'll also shout out while we're continuing the around the grounds theme right now, and I kind of missed it initially when we were talking about the Bombers here, but Ben, as we speak, is on. I've forgotten their names. I've forgotten the channel's name. Anyway, he's live right now with a group of Essendon supporters. On one of their shows. So please make sure to check that one out. He will make sure to promote it. It's called Bomber Banter. That's right. Make sure to go check out Bomber Banter now. Ben's live on it. That's why you probably haven't seen him in the comments so far. But get around him. A little bit of love for the Hoops crew there. Get a bit noisy. Don't leave this show. They might be live. Use the comments afterwards and represent the Hoops crew en masse. You want us to lose by 100 points. Okay. Lucas says he did a preview today with a brand new Logitech camera. Very nice. Doing a live watch along for the Cats game. Good to hear. And then, of course, you're coming to post-game live, right, Lucas? You're still You might be forming your own channel, but you're still joining us, right? Oh, he's talking about jumping the bed. Oh, I'll take your bandwagon somewhere else, champ. Good to have Lucas on board, as always. All right, let's continue on from here. The other games, we've spoken a little bit about the fixture already. We've got a few milestones. Steel side bottom is currently playing his 350th game. George Hewitt, Ed Langdon, Jack Steele, Liam Duggan, and Jared Witts will all be playing their 200th game this weekend, while Tom McCartan and Harry Perryman are playing their 150th. In the VFL this weekend, Geelong is playing against the Bombers Saturday at 12:05 p.m. at GMHBA Stadium. That is obviously after our game on Friday night. And in the AFLW, we've got Benjamin Reeve has failed me one too many times. He's still got the practice match from last week. We've got one final week before the AFLW starts, but a reminder that the girls will be playing next weekend, not this coming weekend, next weekend, Cats and North. So it's a pretty tough game to begin the season at GMHBA. The reigning premiers against the Cats, 3:35 on Saturday, August 16th. So, should do in case you missed it, Geelong Zone is Lucas and his new channel. Shadu, feel free to deal with Thomas and his spam in the chat. However you see fit. In fact, I'm going to pull the lever now. Timed out. Get out of here. Stop wasting my time. I don't have patience for bullshit. All right. It's getting towards the latter stage of the school year. My patience is starting to run thin. Let's get into player spotlight time. Ben hasn't given me a graphic because he's a lazy shit. But we are talking about Mark the Shark O'Connor, whose actually nickname is Merrick. His nickname is Merrick. His original team is County Kerry. Of course, he's one of our Irish guns. He tried with Melbourne, North, and the Cats before ultimately joining the Cats. He placed fourth in the 3-kilometre time trial at the AFL Draft Combine, was a Category B rookie selection for the Cats in 2016, debuted in round 8, 2017 against the Bombers, funnily enough. He's the 1,068th player to wear the hoops. This is his 9th season. He's played 142 games, 12 finals, kicked 10 goals, and as Jake has just said, if I wasn't here, we love you, Scotty. No, I wouldn't do that. You know that full well that I am a big fan of what Scotty Tompkins brings to the table. You've been welcomed by myself, Ben, and this community more than most other communities from all you've told me. So we'll always back you in, Scotty. You don't need to hide your identity here. But yes, he's contracted until the end of 2026. That's Mark O'Connor, not Scotty. The number 42 has seen 3 Cat players of note. He's, of course, one of them. Justin Wood played 7 games, and Adrian Hickmont with 50 and 2 grand finals. Let's get to some Q&A. This, despite a bloated opening to the show, we've rocketed through it ever since. So that is the core of the show done. Ben hasn't provided me any trivia. Membry owns Scotty. We'll pin it for a little bit. We'll just keep it there as a nasty reminder for him. So let's get into some Q&A. We'll get your questions going. We'll also, because I know that there's been a little bit of game talk already, I'll try and get the game of the show bit out of the way nice and quickly. It's not Battlefield 6, I will admit, but it's a game that I am very hyped for. And as the host, that's all that matters when it comes to decision-making here. Hawthorn about to kick another goal? No. Oh, Nick Dacos is hurt. Poor man. Also, did he get taken high? I didn't actually see what happened. So, he's probably just been a bit precious. Poor little Nick Dacos. Ah, Lucas's mum. Happy birthday. She's turned 60 today. That's awesome. You love to see it. Not committed enough to the show, though. I don't care. It's your 60th birthday. Get here in the chat. Come on, Lucas's mum. No, happy birthday to If you're seeing this after the fact, if Lucas has just shown you this clip because I'm being a piece of shit, criticizing you for not being here on your birthday, happy birthday, Mrs. Lucas. When are we getting justice for Wines? Ollie Wines? Oh, can we name some players who've played for both Geelong and Essendon? Paul Chapman. He's the only one that matters. No, Paul Salmon. No. What? Johnny Barnes, I should say. But Ben hasn't given me that list. He usually does a good job of getting that list. He has not done it. He's been really lax lately. But as I spoke about, he's been pretty flat chat. He's getting hammered with work. James Kelly is, of course, another one. Justin Murphy, another one. The chat's doing the job. The chat's doing the job for me. Love your work. Brent Prismal is another. Shadu asks, what do you think of the reports that West Coast Eagles might be looking at Duncan as a player coach? Matty Stokes has also just been dropped by Jake Garner. Good one there. I mean, look, it wouldn't surprise me. There's Jeremy Howe going away in the stretcher. Looking all right, considering. But I guess they're checking for any damage, structural damage. Due diligence. Oh, what an ugly turnover. Oh, 2 ugly turnovers. Bit of poise from Steel Sidebottom is all that saved the day there. Matty Stokes has been referenced. Joel Reynolds, George Goninen. But sorry, when it comes to Mitch Duncan, his name's come up a little bit when it's come to the prospect of, player coach or coaching. And Stuart Cramery's just been brought up there as well. Of course, he was just on the podcast Sacked recently. Didn't really talk too much about the Cats because obviously it's a pretty minuscule chapter in his career and there was nothing controversial about it, unlike his time at the Dogs and the Bombers, especially the Bombers. It's kind of being swept over there. But yeah, former Cat as well. So Amy says, you think Mitch and McQualter became friends in the hub, so it makes sense. Not sure that Demi would want to leave Geelong, though. Yeah, look, but sometimes money talks, right? Sometimes you need that income. That was a good hanger. Was that Kel Shadir then? Got right up. This kid can jump. He's got some spring in his step. That said, we'll put Connor O'Sullivan on if we have to play him in the finals. Sully will get the job done with ease. Save Jack Henry and Sam DeConing for some of the other big boys. Finances are a thing. Now, of course, Mitch Duncan's played in the system now for quite some time and he's been pretty well remunerated. Oh, big clunk in the square. Who was that? That was a great grab. Oh, was that big Lloyd Meek? Good hands. That was a fantastic contested mark. That was a good grab. But look, I think if Mitch gets the opportunity to do it in Victoria, I think he's so well established now that I think he will. But maybe there's an offer too good to refuse to go to West Coast or to go to Freo or someone like that. So did he just miss that? Oh no, he's kicked it. Lots of excitement. Good. Not going to cheer too hard for Hawthorn tonight. But we are supporting them. We are hoping that they get a win. Yeah, one night only, we're all Hawthorn. Look, the Pies can lose any of the next 3 games. They do have to play Adelaide next week. So they've got losable games. We don't necessarily need to support the Hawks this week, but I would like to just see the Pies get that loss. We know that it's done and we can move on. Shadu says, I can't afford TDK, but I need a pool boy. Can someone please take TDK for several million? St Kilda will do it. And they might even add a little bit more to it now that they're going to probably lose the Messiah. Oh, that was such a good grab from Kel Shadir. As was, two really good contested marks back to back. That's awesome from Hawthorn. And you don't want to see it too much of it. Just get the job done. Win by 2 points. I don't care. Give me a scare. Oh, don't handball to a ruckman, Jai Newcomb. As Brodie Grundy learnt the other day, depriving him of being the first ruckman ever to get 40 disposals in a match. What other topics have we got in here? So yeah, I could see Mitch prioritising wanting to stay in Victoria, whether that's Geelong or another club, but then exploring the possibility of returning home or something after that. I don't think he'll go to South Australia, New South Wales, or Queensland. I think it's Victoria or WA. All right. Can we all just believe the rumour that TDK is considering St Kilda and wants to play with his brother? Can we all just believe the rumour that TDK is reconsidering St Kilda and wants to play with his brother? I mean, that'd be nice. I'll take him. I don't know if we want to pay that much for a ruckman though. What is the best way for watch-alongs? Oh, match watch-alongs. Well, you can't project the game because you'll get the YouTube copyright strike. The video will have to get taken down or completely demonetized, one or the other. But beyond that, if you're able to spin up a couple little graphics so you can project the scores on the screen, otherwise you're just going to sit and talk to the camera a bit like I am now and just watch it. Like all I've got right now, and I'm going to do this so quickly. I'm just watching the game on KO on my phone. I could put it on my second screen, but I've got what I need for the show on there right now. That was a great kick by Jarman Impey. Where are we? Jake says, do you think Cam Guthrie will go around next year? I've really ummed and ahed about this one. Now, if you haven't seen it, Jake, I put together a video on it, I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks ago, maybe even close to a month now, talking about this exact thing. And I was really umming and ahhing about whether that would eventuate. Lucas, I'm not commentating. I'm still running our current show, and I'm not going to be doing a watch along for. I'm not going to be doing so unless you're talking about yourself and what you plan on doing. Yeah, I'm not commentating the Hawks and the Pies. I'm not going to stick around for the whole show. I'm going to run this show and bounce. So yeah, when it comes to Cam Guthrie, with the amount of depth that's coming through, like the young guys coming through the starting play, really, really good football. And honestly, you'd struggle to justify delisting any single one of them right now. Like last year, we had players who had a few years, weren't able to deliver, swung the axe on them. I look at Jai Clark, I look at George Stevens, I look at Mitch Nevitt, I look at a fleet of other guys, Patrick Rechko, and so many others are doing an amazing job. Now, some of these guys are still contracted, some of them in their first year, and so they've already got another year up their sleeve. But I look at all the others and I go, I can't justify delisting you. I see there being a potential here, and we just need to give you more time to get your body right, to build your body up, to get some AFL experience and develop the form. And so I wonder if maybe, because you got to lose 3 minimum each year, I wonder if our 3 are all experienced. I wonder if our 3 are Reece Stanley, Mitch Duncan, and Cam Guthrie, and that's it. And as much as I would like to see Cam Guthrie stick around for depth, with the likes of these young blokes coming through, and I've changed my tone a little bit since I recorded that video, currently I don't see much reason for him to stick around, to be honest, which is sad. And Amy's just kind of said it. He's selfless and will choose to retire. Sadly, I think that's the case as well. Shadu agrees. Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, commentate and just talk. Just engage with your chat. Like if you're able to keep an eye on them and discuss the game in a bit of depth, try and do that. Scotty really wants the compo picks for TDK. Another Hawthorn shot on goal. Rate Warple in the game right now. I haven't been able to watch closely enough. So if someone is able to speak to how the Warpedo is going right now, or Warple is going right now, I'd be keen to hear your thoughts because I haven't been able to watch closely enough. Certainly not to be able to identify players. Like it's really slow plays, like a set shot on goal that I'm able to tune into. So, Shadu says, I love Conway. Discord friends attest to my love, but I so badly want TDK. We just can't. I don't think we can justify that sort of sum of money. Oh, Mark on the line. They're under siege, the Pies. I know they just got a goal a moment ago, but like the Hawks are really controlling this one for the most part. Every time I look, it's the players in the Hawthorn forward line for the most part. You can try and call and see what works for you, Lucas. You might prefer a reaction slant as opposed to straight calling the game. Yeah, don't try and necessarily turn yourself into a commentator. Refer to the game, make a big deal about moments that you see, but otherwise it's really about the way you engage with your community and those who are watching. Roaming is back. Not Reese, though. I think Reese will go around again. Probably depends on the ruck situation. Honestly, I think Reese's situation now heavily depends on Tom De Koning. If Tom De Koning goes to St Kilda, all reports are that Rowan Marshall is out. Rowan Marshall will then go to the Cats. And I think at that point, Reese will go, I'm ending on a good note. That you'll back in Rowan Marshall along with Toby Conway, Mitch Edwards and the others that are coming through, Joe like Pike, all those sorts of guys, back them in to develop and be right to go when what's his name starts when Marshall starts to slow down and retire, get towards retirement age himself. Jackie says, and apologizes first, so you're off the hook. The Buse retires, could be close to that as well. That there's 4. 5 for Warple, still turns it over under pressure. He likes his space. He does like a bit of space, but he is a good contested animal, so we'll see how we go. Turns it over under pressure. Sounds like Baslenka. No, he just butchers it the best of times. Warple got the message to tank his value for the Catters. Good. I like that theory. Jake says, Reese, I think, wanted to retire a couple of years ago, but got asked to go around again, and he's almost had a new lease on life. He's playing fantastic football at the moment. If we don't get a superstar, I don't think we need depth players. Yeah, I get that. I am kind of somewhere in the middle, but it probably then depends on a lot of the movement of some of the other players around them. It's like if we lose Duncan, if we lose Guthrie, if we lose Buse, I do want to see some depth come in, and whether that's some of the players we've discussed tonight, whether that's a Warple, whether it's I've done a bunch of videos recently about a host of different players who I could absolutely see joining the Hoops, and they would be more of that depth style player. Of course, very, very recently, I put together the video on Alex Davies from the Gold Coast Suns and spoke about how he could be a possibility. I think there's some cool options that we could explore without having to break the bank and potentially still save the money for your Sam Walshes, for your Harley Reeds, for your Zach Butters, those types of players. Question, will they get rid of the bounce? Yeah. It seems like, or maybe they'll have a kind of almost a ceremonial first bounce of the game, and then everything after that is a throw up. A ball up. Thrown up. That'll be better. Jamie Elliott having a shot on goal. Hawks are pissing away some opportunities here. Stinks of a goal, that one, the way that everyone's carrying on. But we'll see. All right, let's keep banking some of those questions, but we're going to jump across to our game of the show now, and I'm not going to introduce it. It's going to appear on the screen as soon as I go full screen anyway. That's touched on the line. That is by a hair. That is very fortunate for Hawthorn. We'll get into game of the show. I'm not going to introduce it. It's just a cinematic teaser, so there's no gameplay or anything like that. Let's get into it. This is our game of the show.
You will be hunted. The White City for certain. The Council. And there will be others. You would wage this war alone?
No. Not alone.
I fucking love Darksiders. It is A really cool Zelda knockoff. Like it's a really cool kind of Zelda knockoff. It's got some Portal elements. Please just get it in your life. But it's way darker and grittier and a bit more violent. 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Really cool stuff. And if you haven't played some of the other ones, they're all dirt cheap at the moment because they've just announced this. So there's like sales on PlayStation, Xbox for all the previous games. You could probably get them all combined for like $50-$60 at the moment. So consider that one. If you don't mind a Zelda, an old school, not an old school, but a non-Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom, like a real Zelda. And I mean the real Zeldas being the non-Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom ones. Oh, there we go. Gunston. Shot on goal. Then Darksiders for you. Go pick up 1 and 2 in particular, and 2 especially. Absolutely fantastic games. Let's see what Jack Gunston does here. We'll keep watching till halftime. Roaming asks, do I play Fortnite? Your friend wants to know. I don't play Fortnite. Gunston skipped the goal. I want nothing to do with that shithole. I played it. Sorry, I'll walk that back. I played it when the game first came out, back when it was just Save the World. I got sent a review code. I'm gonna see if I can dig this out now for a bit of a laugh. Because I can't remember. We didn't score games back at the time. Oh, it was early access. That's how long ago I covered this game. Holy shit. Yeah, apparently he is a bit of a sweat at Fortnite. Baz is a bit of a gaming junkie from what I can gather. But let's quickly screen share again. Bring up my beloved player2.net.au, which you should be tuning into later tonight. There is some very cool stuff going, releasing from some embargoes over the course of tonight that I haven't been covering. Actually, they're not me jobs, but some really cool games that you should be absolutely paying close attention to. Tim Membry had a chance, but it just got taken off him. I got a code for Forza. I did. Thank you, Xbox, for giving me a PlayStation game. Lucas, I get a lot of access. Fortnite, early access preview. I covered it August 2nd, 2017. I spoke all about Save the World. This is not the Fortnite that we all know now. This is not the Fortnite that anybody cares about today. But anyway, that's my early access preview of Fortnite back in 2017. Oh, I'm old, Paul. My students ask, did you review Fortnite? I'm like, yeah, I covered Fortnite before this before this Battle Royale bullshit came along. And that's when the old jokes start coming. But I'll stand by it. Fuck Battle Royale. Not that the same. This wasn't very good from memory. Like, I didn't have a great time with it. It was perfectly serviceable. Another Hawthorn goal. Ooh, second spot on the ladder's coming. We just need a loss to Brisbane now. Brisbane just needs a loss. Let's take a look at the live ladder, shall we? Because that's going to make for some interesting reading. Boom. Live ladder. Pies. Their percentages dropped 2.6% already. The Hawks, of course, this is a big one. So, and I guess the Dogs are one of the big threats in the AFL right now. They are smoking teams with ease right now, but they are on the other side of the 8. And so Hawthorn was the team that I think a lot of people considered might cough up losses to the Pies and I think the Lions, and the Dogs would get them as a result. They only had to really win one of those 2 games to almost lock themselves out of that situation. They're doing it. Oh, now Bambi Orchol's got another shot on goal. Well, the siren hasn't gone, so he may not choke this time. The septic tank is overflowing. Ben went on another show. He did. I'll just reference that from before. Shadu, you might have missed it. He was on Bomber Banter earlier on. That was live. So you can go tune in after we finish the show tonight and see what that was all about. And use the comment section, promote the Hoops Crew, be good Hoops Crew community members, and show them how much better we are, not only on the football field, but off it as well. Where are we? Any chances that Hawthorn player can get a different haircut? Look, we've got a whole lot of blonde hair, long blonde hair with like headbands going, so I won't judge them too much. Defense or defense? Defense. But then if I'm like leaning into defense in basketball, then I'll kind of... But defense is the word. I can't indulge this defense bullshit. Joshy Smeg says, never thought I'd be barracking of Hawthorn of all teams. It's about enough now. Like, they don't need to extend the margin any further. But here we are. Been on a word show, and he could have gone and watched the number one Hoops Crew show. It is the number one Hoops Crew show. Number one Hoops Crew show hosted by Paul James. Got paid $200, not sharing with the rest of the Hoops Crew. All right. That was a throw, wasn't it? Hopefully they treated Ben with respect. Ben will be able to confirm. Maybe the respect was the $200. And I'll double check the decimal place. Yeah, was it the end there? Yeah, not $2. Great. Defense. Good. Thank you, Horatio. Common sense is prevailing. Roaming asked the question. Now, Ben, now that you're back, we do need some clarification. He asks, why did you stop the tipping show, Ben? So, give us an answer. Why'd you stop the tipping show? Yeah, that should be a free kick to memory, right? Oh, I think that was a big arm chop there. He went on the other show to avoid your question, Roaming. Ben, the Bomber fans were nice in the chat, but I'm going to keep Roaming's question pinned there. Why did you stop the tipping show? Answer the man's question. Oh, shit, it's been a little quick. I will say, continuing the gaming thing, there's another Nintendo Direct tonight. Last week when we went through and I promoted Hades because I felt like Hades 2 was going to drop. Now they've gone and announced a specific indie thing where Hades 2 could actually drop. So, game of the show on Monday, probably going to be a Nintendo game from this Nintendo Indie World Showcase, but we'll see how that goes. The Hawks are getting the rub of the green at the moment. Is there a bit of free kick Hawthorn going on? I know the Pies aren't playing good football. I know the Hawks are playing very good football, but it feels like they're also getting a bit of... wrong. 9-13, the Pies way. All right, that was just a dodgy bad of the eye test. Efficiency inside 50 is very good for both teams, actually. It's just Hawthorn's doing it much better. This is a shell-lacking. It's turning into one. Only 10 minutes ago, I was sitting back saying, I trust the system. Ben, answer the man's question. Answer the man's question. Tell him why. Tell him why. I don't know. I saw a reel today involving Luka Doncic and the Backstreet Boys, so it just popped in my head then. Only 10 minutes ago, I was sitting back saying, geez, the Hawks might rue these missed opportunities, but they're really starting to get on the end of them now. And big Mavs again. My work colleague who's a Bombers man is even hoping Jeremy Cameron kicks heaps tomorrow just to see a player get to 100. I think everyone wants to see the 100 at this point. Because it may not happen again. Like the whole it may not happen again conversation is very, very real. Charles has it again. There we go. 57-23, 34 points. The margin is blowing out. Let's again check that live ladder. I bet Scotty's loving this. Loves himself a Collingwood loss. So again, they've now dropped 4.6%. No, sorry, 3.6%. some maths teacher I am. 3.6% drop for them. Game key cards. Factual Opinions jumped in with a very good one there. Stop yawning. It's contagious. I'm sorry. I've still got to. So I have made a commitment to cover this Indie World thing tonight. That's at 11 o'clock. I've also made a commitment to my year 12s because they've just finished a SAC for me, a scored assessment for me. And I told them they'd get their results tomorrow. And one of them goes, "Why don't you put them online at midnight?" I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? I'll be up anyway." Idiot. I should have said, no, I'll give them to you in class tomorrow. But anyway, here we are. I'm a dumbass. But also, high factual opinion, first time for the night. Nintendo are villains of the gaming industry right now. Game key cards, bricking Switch 2s, and now raising price of the OG Switch. The rising of the OG, like the original Switch, is absolutely outrageous. I cannot comprehend how they thought this was a good idea. You only show yourself to be money-hungry pieces of shit when you make decisions like that. John Newcomb, Newcomb's got a shot on goal now. Yeah, I am dumb. I mean, I'm going to be up anyway, so it's not that hard. I'll probably actually post them like an hour, like at about 11 o'clock when I'm doing all my Nintendo stuff, and they'll just tune in at midnight and be like, "Oh, they're there. What a good teacher." Really, I put them in an hour ago and I've gone to bed. Game key cards. I don't mind the key card idea if they execute it properly. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, I'm thinking about the is it game key cards. The one where you can kind of transfer like the digital license of the game around. That's not game key cards, is it? I can't remember. Another Hawthorn shot on goal. What is going on, Collingwood? You pull the pin on your Nintendo sub. Lucas is going to love this. Hey, Lucas. Nintendo sends me free Nintendo Switch Online subscriptions. I don't have to pay for them. Xbox sent me a year of Xbox Game Pass just back in June. I didn't pay for it. I play for my PlayStation Plus, though. Roaming needs his question answered, Ben. Stop being a little bitch. Answer his question. Come on, Ben. Why'd you stop the tipping show? Ben is shaking his boots right now. Answer. I felt bad about embarrassing Paul with my dominance. Jam it. The Pies' inability to spoil the ball in the defensive end it's horrible. They're being completely outmatched. Paul, why are you shit at tips? Hang on a minute. Just give me 1 second. Footy tips. I'm not shit at footy tips. Let's bring up the Hoops crew tipping. Ladder. Let's see. Which way did Ben tip? Benjamin Reeve. You know who he tipped tonight? Collingwood Magpies. Yours truly here will only be one tip behind him after tonight because I tipped the Hawthorn Hawks. How'd the system go for you tonight, dickhead? Anyway, he's been shit this year. But yeah, Ben doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got a system. It doesn't really work. Hawthorn, the Pies are just dumping it down there now. Jordan De Goey with a fairly impressive taunt. That was a good tackle by who was that? No, I couldn't pick who it was. I'm only one tip behind. I am behind him. I'm only one tip behind. And I'm, as things stand, 39th in our Hoops crew thing. Only 6 tips from the top. 39th out of 195. So I'm going to hazard a guess that I'm in front of most of you. Maybe not all of you, but most of you. I can see Kiri's ahead of me. He's level with Ben, but I'm going to catch up one there. I'm trailing. If this is your name if this is your username on Footy Tips, let me know. I'm behind Stengel at Bloom. I'm behind Liam the Pussycat, Cat Attack Man, the Hairy Pussycats, Geelong 6, Oznadians, Toby Cad, D_V_W, N Mesha Go Cats, Go Pies 2025 brackets Lachlan, spelt with an O, King Kiri, Amelia, Boydie GFC_GFC, Trace C, John F. Kennedy, B to the Ron, Mike Go Cats, Cat 46, Ben Reeve Hoops, but that gap has closed a little bit now. Love Them Paddy Cats, Methodical Flamethrower, 3 from 5, Catman, Catwoman, AFL Glicko, we know AFL Glicko, Kimmy J, Dazza the Catman, The Great J Catsby, Ando 1962, Wilbur 98, Anton K, Barton 2, PJRM, Charlie's Magpies, who I know I've recently learned is one of my students in year 10, Beck B _GForce X1 and Cat 3007 and Shvi. Why did we get to the very last name on top of the ladder and suddenly I hit one I can't pronounce? Shivo. And Cat 307 and Shivo are sitting on 137 tips. 1 point clear of GForce X1 and then another one in front of a whole bunch of you. So I'm tracking all right. Pause. Oh, you did say that. Next Saturday night, I'm hosting Postgame Live. Fuck, it's a late one. All right. Next week, tell me it's a day game. It's a Sunday night. Oh, fuck my life. Oh, it's a 3:15 game, so I guess I can get it started as soon as I get the kids to bed. What we'll do, Ben, are you still there? Blink twice if you're there. You're going to take the Paul James show on the Monday. I'll take Postgame Live. You're taking the Paul James show on the Monday. Don't wreck it. Because you know that I'll do a good job with Postgame Live. It'll be one of the best performing shows that you've had all year. But you could blow up the Paul James show. You are going to select a video game. You're not going to ruin the show. You're going to keep every segment exactly as it should be. And Shanu's right. Postgame Live goes wild when I host. I have such a fun time completely derailing that. Lucas, if you're still kicking around, either on your normal channel or on your new one, make sure you get yourself buckled in for next Sunday night, mate. Because it's going to be a time. It's going to be a party. Oh, I'll have to rearrange Patched as well. All right. On that note, it's halftime. We're going to wrap things up now. Thank you all, Paul. Postgame Live, Paul gone lewd. We're going to wrap things up there. Thank you all for having tuned into the show tonight. I should really check to see if there's not one final segment that I haven't missed, but I don't think I have. Q&A, we've done Game of the Show. Yep, we're at the end. Thank you all for having tuned in tonight. Watch this game, the Hawks and the Pies, with great interest because this is a very important one to the Cats and their 2025 finals campaign. But it looks like going nicely in our favor right now. So we'll see how... look, the Pies could come back. They've been there. They've done it before. But they don't have Nasai Wanganeen Miller on their team, so maybe not. Let Lucas host. Anyone but Ben. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Depends on how long... But the fact that we're not playing a night game, I for some reason, I thought we were playing a Saturday night game and I was going to be going back to back with a few big long late nights. The fact that we're not back to back makes me consider doing both shows. Oh, sorry, back to back late ones makes me consider it, but we'll see. I'm really struggling now at the end of the show. Ben and I'll have to talk anyway because I actually don't know like when he returns from Sydney, whether it's Sunday, whether it's Monday, whether it's Tuesday, whatever it happens to be. So we'll see what happens. Cats by 100 plus points though on the weekend. Oh, Shadu agrees. Good timing. Thank you all for having tuned in tonight. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like the video on YouTube. If every single one of you who've been watching tonight have tossed a like on it or go and do one right now, it's going to make a huge difference to our ability to get new people checking out the Hoops Crew content, becoming a part of this community, as we saw others doing tonight. Not all of them have been welcome, like old Thomas before. Not our favorite Thomas who's always around, but the dodgy pain in the ass one that was here before. Not all of them the best sort, but we filter the riffraff out and we keep only the best. And that's why you're still here. So thank you all for having tuned in tonight. Like the video, share it with your friends and family, get the word out there about the Hoops Crew and all the content we're making. Make sure to check out Post-Game Live tomorrow night. The Paul James Show will return on Monday. My match reaction will drop in the middle. Make sure to join the Discord. One of us, as Shadu says. What else? The Chaps Chat Cats will do their recap on Tuesday. Lots of good stuff for all of you to check out. Socials, you'll find me at Paul James Games. The Hoops Crew's at the Hoops Crew. Check out our Patreon, where you can subscribe for $5 a month and get a whole range of extended early access and exclusive content. Had a couple episodes of the Scratching Post go up this week. Go check those out. And if you want me to discuss some of your own burning topics, the Scratching Post is a great platform for it. It's patron only. And again, $5 a month is what gets you in for all of the content. My stuff, the chap stuff, all of it. Look, I'm just a better looking bloke than Ben. That's all it is, Doreen. Roaming needs eye candy. I've got nothing. But yeah, make sure to check out all the stuff. There's heaps of awesome stuff there on the Patreon. It would be huge also if you're able to help support this growing dream that we've got. Roaming says he'll behave if Ben takes over. We'll work it out. Ben and I have got to chat about it and we'll work out what we're going to do. But it'll be a good time anyway. One final thing before we wrap up. What's that? Why is he posting a lollipop emoji? One final thing from me. I'm a massive Linkin Park fan. There's been teasers about Linkin Park starting to organise and plan for a tour to Australia. I'm super hyped. If you're planning on going to Linkin Park in Melbourne, let me know because I sure as shit will be there. And in 12 months or so when they get here, I'm really keen to... eye candy, of course. I for sure will meet up with you at some point during the day. Linkin Park's awesome. I miss Chester, but they're still awesome. Thank you all for watching. Remain Geelong strong, and I will see you later. Go Cats, 100 points the margin. Get around them.